Shout out to everybody out there on White Street. You already know what it is. Salute everybody.
Hey,
Hey, what's going on?
how you doing? How you doing?
I never had a bad day in my life, love. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you so much for joining me. Zamakumalo from Ithekuconnect, and finally I get to actually interview you because, like, I've always seen you interviewing other people, so it's nice that you're finally in my house being interviewed.
I don't know how I feel about relinquishing the power like that. I've never been on this side yet.
So thank you so much. Yeah, all the way from America, you know, finally talking to like South Africa and everything like that. Someone of a different, what can I say, creative outlet, because you're always talking to rappers. So it's always good that you're at least talking to someone different, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I like getting it.
Yeah, man. So just tell me, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm saying I like getting as many different perspectives and things like that as we possibly can. You know what I mean? It's always good when you have new blood, regardless if it's, you know, somebody who's brand new or somebody that's established, like, period. It's always good to get new faces.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I've been so excited about it. I've been like looking forward to it the whole week. And again, thank you so much for just joining in.
Did you freeze on me?
No, I was just waiting for you to reply. I'm thinking
I'm
you
sorry.
you needed to reply or something.
I thought the screen froze. I was like, oh no, absolutely, man, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah, man. So I know that you're a YouTube content creator, basically a reactor and everything. I just wanted to know, like, how did that actually come about? Like, how did that whole SteveBussaGS come about? Because I know that you're such a hip hop fanatic, but like, what actually made you want to go into like reacting into hip hop videos?
Okay, this is gonna sound super vain and paint me in a bad light, but I prefer to just be honest with you.
Sure.
I think most reactors are trash. And I got really frustrated with watching people pander to artists and pander to music that was subpar, in my opinion. Like, music is wildly subjective. So I always believe that like, you know what I'm saying, like, one man's trash is another man's top 5. I say that all the time. You know what I'm saying? But like,
That's true. I agree.
I hear people, I would watch individuals react to stuff, and I didn't believe that they believed what they were listening to was actually good, and that they were only actually like responding positively for the clicks or for the viewership and the subs. And I don't know, I got tired of watching it because there's a lot of good artists out there who deserve good feedback, and I felt like, as somebody who has a history, I was a battle rapper for 17 years. As someone who's been writing bars for as long as I have, as somebody who has the experience of knowing what's dope and what's not from an artist perspective, I felt like I could give it a more realistic touch. And I don't really give a fuck what anybody thought about me, so I wasn't afraid to speak my mind and lose viewership. I wasn't in it for the subs. I was in it to just speak my mind, have fun, and do the thing. You know what I mean?
I like that because, you know, a lot of things that I've noticed, especially within the creative culture, because you are creative essentially at the end of the day, is that we tend to sometimes do things for clout, but we lose the essence, the reality of what the basically the arts that people are giving forward to us, and we're just like, nah, that's trash. I don't understand why you would even want to listen to that. And I like the fact that you're very honest, but at the same time you give good feedback, because a lot of people feel that if I give you something destructive, that's feedback on its own. But sometimes you need to just be like honest and just, you know, give positiveness at the same time, because I don't know why it is, but people seem to think that positive is being viewed as being a weakling and everything like that, and that's the weirdest thing for me, you know. So
I agree.
I like the fact that you're very honest. Yeah, I like the fact that you're honest, but in the same sense you're also able to bring positiveness, because you can't just bring a person down and just think that that's the only thing that they're going to be able to work with, because not everyone is the same anyway. You know?
I agree, and I think a big part of it for me is intent. Like, for instance, I don't talk shit on mumble rappers because like even though it's not for me, even though it's not my lane, even though it's not the stuff that I listen to, I don't believe their intent was to market to me. I am not the target audience for that. You know what I'm saying? So like when it comes to being critical of something, or when it does come to being mean, or you know what I mean, whatever the case may be, intent is important. Like if this person is marketing themselves as a lyricist, I'm going to judge them as a lyricist. If I think that this song is just made to be a commercial hit, then I'm going to look at it through the lens of somebody who just wants the clicks, who just wants the clout. You know what I mean? I think intent is very important in critique. And that's why I don't like the people who just give the blanket positive statements for every person and everything that they've ever seen. It's also why I don't seek out certain material. Like if I know something is not my taste, I won't put it on my channel because I don't want to talk ill on anybody. Like my job, I'm not a drama channel. I'm not a channel that wants to trash somebody. I want to look at it through my lens and give honest feedback. So like I've had an instance where I had like Playboy Cardi, where I did a song because I had never heard of him. I didn't know he was a mumble rapper. So like when I did it, like I laughed and we laughed about it. You know what I'm saying? I did my jokes. I was like, yo, I can't understand a fucking word that he's saying. You know what I mean? But I didn't continue to do music by him to keep talking shit after that first one. Once I realized what I was getting into. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's important because there are people who do that purposely just to talk trash. And I talk like just I don't want to get too much into it, but here's the example that I use all the time whenever I do talk to somebody who trashes like mumble rappers or whatever the case may be. There's a difference between viewing hip hop through the lens of an English teacher's eyes, right? Which is like, oh, I can't understand what this blah blah blah. And then there's the actual eyes of viewing it through hip hop through the lens of this is an individual who found a way to get out of poverty, to not have to live in the hood anymore, to help and support their family and give something to art that didn't exist previously. And it may not be for you, but to be like, oh, this person doesn't, like, I hope every person gets every dollar that they want and that they deserve. I would never take a dollar out of any artist's pocket. Like, there's a difference. Like, just because something's not my lane doesn't mean that it's not hip-hop, doesn't mean that it's not worthy of being art. You feel me?
I know, I feel that 100%. And you are quite an avid fan of South African hip-hop. So just briefly tell me as to what is it about South African hip-hop that just gets your blood going? Because I've seen you like interview Stogie T and Jimmy Wiz, and you've obviously like, you know, hit some bars and everything like that, but like also other artists like Nasty C as well, you know. But what is it about SA hip-hop that you love so much? Is it like the way that we rhyme? Is it the way that we, you know, basically come with our culture, things of that nature? What is it about it that you love so much?
I think it's something that's evolving too. The more I dive into it. It started out as this hidden gem. I had no idea that it existed. So I was like a kid on Christmas. Like if you're somebody who's super into hip hop and you think that you have your finger on the pulse of hip hop and you know what it is, and it's just East Coast versus West Coast, and then you got Drake in Canada, Mercury's in Canada, and like that's all that it is. And then out of nowhere, you discover this entire culture that's thriving, and it's like it is. I was like a kid on Christmas, like holy shit, I have an entire world of new music to dive into with their own culture, their own background, their own references, and there's so much stuff to learn. There's so much like so like that's what got my blood boiling. It's like it was literally like an entire new world opened up to me. And then when I started seeing how like I don't know how in depth the culture was with the society too, and like how you guys have your own genres like and mixtures and everything like that. It was like every time that I started to learn more, there was always more to keep digging into. You know what I'm saying? And then I found people like Stogie T. Stogie T is in my top 5, and I talk about that all the time. Like I found people like one of the things I hate. One of my critiques about South African commentary is that so often I hear, oh yeah, he's top 5 in SA, or yeah, he's really good for an SA rapper, and I'm like, nah, you got to stop that, man. It's not just in SA, like you know what I mean. Like these artists are dope, period, and like that's like one of my things. My whole playlist, my whole playlist got trashed and jambled up the second that I've discovered South African hip hop. And now I have so much of the music that's integrated into my stuff. That's why I don't like segregating it. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like it's like, oh, that would be like, oh, you're an okay journalist for a woman. Like that's what it sounds like in my ears when someone's like they're a good artist for South African hip hop. Like it's no different in my mind.
Definitely. No, I feel that properly. I seriously feel that. So I like the fact that you said that, you know, it's just South African artists, well, South African hip hop artists, period. They're good because sometimes we tend to, as South Africans, we sometimes tend to look down on our own in a way or don't appreciate the talent that we have. And it's always nice that someone from overseas is like, nah, listen, you guys are flippin' dope. Considering the fact that like even the culture itself has sort of like gotten from American culture and we sort of like evolved it into our own. So I want to just know from you that you were saying earlier on that you know you've got South African music. Who's in your playlist? I just want to know that before we like properly dive into South African hip hop.
There have been parts that I've taken from a lot. Like so obviously I've got Stogie in my playlist. Jimmy Wiz, I've got a few in there. Landmark always had a few in there. Eugen Blackrock is in there. I've got the Nasty and the Reeses and the Youngster CPT. Pretty much anyone that you've seen that I've dove into on the channel, there is something in there. Like I have the Flame is someone who I haven't even put too much on my channel, but there's not a week that goes by that I don't have a Flame track that the message isn't playing in my household at some point in time. Like there's not a it's not a small pool anymore where I could just tell you like, oh yeah, here are the ones that are on my track. Like it's literally like half of my it's completely mixed. Half of my playlist is mixed in with South African hip hop right now.
So then, Steve, according to you, then what actually makes a good MC? Because you just like said that no, look, we got bars, we're good with it, and everything like that. So what is it according to you? Because you've also mentioned that like you've been writing for the longest time. So what is it that makes a dope MC? You know, it's always interesting to know people's different perspectives.
I think intent again. They don't. Not all MCs are going to make the same type of music. I would not put a Flame in the same category as a Landmark. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't do that. You are getting very distinct playlist ability, right? So like I have my playlist for vibes. I have my playlist for my go hard shit. You know what I mean? I have my conscious playlist. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas I might have 5 Touchline songs on my, you know what I'm saying, on like a vibes or my conscious playlist. They might not, those same songs aren't going to fit on your go hard playlist. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it really, like, what makes a dope MC, it depends what you're in the mood for. Because I don't think punchline, like my own go-to is always going to be punchlines because I'm a battle rapper. I like to go hard stuff. I like to come at your neck stuff, right? But I also love my toxic music. You know what I'm saying? If I can throw in some toxic Nasty C or some toxic A Reese, I'm gonna enjoy that just as much as I'm gonna enjoy the punchlines and the battle stuff. Like that's just the way that I am. So what makes a dope MC is like finding your lane and then just focusing and honing on the craft. And it's different for like if you take Nasty for instance, right? I don't believe Nasty C has found his sound yet. He's doing so many different things, and the kid is so talented, and he's so young, and he's so versatile that I don't think anyone, including Nasty C, has a clue what he's gonna sound like in 5 years. But for me personally, I don't really like his bars. I love his vibes. SMA, Send Me Away is one of the best tracks I've ever heard in my life. I literally tear up every single time that I listen to it, and it's like. That's a dope MC. But if the only thing that you've ever listened to by that artist was like the go hard bars, and it's like he doesn't have as good of go hard bars as like a Stogie T does. You know what I mean? So like it's about jumping into an MC's catalog, watching them evolve, watching them find their lane and what they're good at or what they may not be good at. And then there's levels to it too. Because everyone doesn't have to be God MC level to be dope. Everyone doesn't have to be the best to be dope. Some people just make good music. Some people just make shit that relates to people. You know what I mean? Like that. So what makes a dope MC is all of that and the experience
Yeah.
and the journey of watching an MC figure that out.
I like
In my
that. I like
opinion.
that a lot. I just feel I just want to ask you this. I'm going to put you into the very hectic corner. There was a bit of a debacle about Nasty C and the fact that he used the title Zulu Man with Power.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're someone that's from America, and so obviously that's someone that's international. So, do you feel that, in a way, I don't know how in tune you are with like the Zulu culture, whatever, but in a way, for an outsider, someone that has lived in America, did you feel that you got to experience maybe a bit of, the Zulu culture within the music that he actually gave out in Zulu Man with Power?
So when a Zulu Man with Power came out, uh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe that to be marketing 101. Okay, I do not think that.
Okay.
First of all, I think I got more from the LDFs. You know what I mean? I think I got more from them
Mm.
when it comes to actually experiencing culture and getting the actual like in depth of South African culture and shit like that. As far as that goes, however,
Mm.
what I think the Zulu Man with some power does is it puts him in a very, very unique position in that Americans are
Mm.
completely dumb. I have no idea like what
Mm.
it means to actually represent Zulu culture properly or to represent Zulu culture not
Sure.
properly. But what I do know is when we see the
Yeah.
title, it makes us go and do research.
Mm.
And when we do research, that's when we're going
Yes.
to discover
Okay.
whether it is or whether it is not authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not necessary. Like
Okay.
who am I to say whether or not it was or was not authentic? I'm not in the culture. I'm not of the culture. Like you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
but as somebody who hears music that is represented with that title and it sparks that interest, and now like Nasty is doing one thing better than anyone right now, and it's opening the door to
Mm.
outsiders to spark an interest to go and learn more on their own. And I think that's super important
Love.
when it comes to
Love
connecting the
that.
culture. Like he is inadvertently going to put on
Mm.
like I know he doesn't always speak in rap and Zulu, right? But now that somebody's interested in that and they go
Mm.
to look it up, they may find artists out there
Mm.
who do only rap in vernac. You know what I mean? Like, and then now that
Mm.
person may not have gotten a look if Nasty C didn't use that title. I think it's a
Mm.
genius marketing tactic. I don't think he compromised his sound to do it. I think the sound
At all.
still
Yeah.
very Nasty C on it. And then like what was it?
Sure.
The opening track was like that. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Like it's not like he did the entire album in Zulu and he's never done that before and he's
Yeah.
posing. Like no, like he's representing. He's putting on for SA and I think it was super dope. I really do. Like whether you like the track or you don't like the
You
track, it's not about that. It's about what does
Yeah.
it do for the culture.
I agree. For me, the one thing I loved is that, the one thing that we also need to also realize as Africans, well, as a society, to be honest, is that, culture evolves. And that's the one thing that, a lot of people don't seem to understand, that like culture evolves, the way that people connect with one another is going to evolve. And like you just brought it up now, that it will actually make, and I just, the way that you actually said that, it just actually just, sparked something in my mind, that like, someone else will actually want to research and just go into deeper and find that, what is the Zulu culture all about? What else is it that I could learn, that I could get into within the culture as well? Because that's what culture is all about, connecting people at the end of the day. So that's really, I like the point that you just raised up now, that, it's all about just like doing your research, looking at what it is that, how is it that people can connect with one another. Can I just ask, what was your favorite track from the actual album?
Overpriced steak. Overpriced
Okay.
overpriced steak got quite a few spins for me. Definitely, especially the first week,
Yeah.
or after the first week. I'm gonna say it. The first week, I do like the full album listen throughs. You know what I'm saying? After that, I found myself going back to
Yeah.
overpriced steak the most.
Oh, nice. I see Jimmy Wiz is saying hi to us, and I'm seeing the comments are showing love as well. Your Jimmy Wiz was a former guest on your, the IG interview and everything of that nature. So, like, hello, Jimmy Wiz.
That,
Hello, everyone else for greeting us as well.
now we got some stars down in the
Yeah,
comments. Shout out to everybody that's here. Jimmy's like Jimmy's extended family at this point. That's my guy.
listen. Listen, he was even like my beloved people, Makumalo, going all African. I'm like, okay, hello now. So like, like it's really cool. Thank you. And Mahut as well. I see his also on there as well. So hello, hi to him and Sam as well and Sludge Underground. All my people. I just wanted to say hi as well. Thank you guys for joining us. So I just saw that you did something very interesting today. You were just busy asking people, guys, who can I interview for your basically your IG live? Who, in your opinion, would you like to interview? If you had a wish list of top 5 rappers that you could interview in SA, who would it be?
Justin SA. I've done a really
Okay.
I've done a really really good job right now of cultivating relationships with artists as I do the reactions and as I discover their music, and connecting with them. Like they're South African artists are very accessible comparatively to United States artists. I think I would have
Sure.
an absolute monster interview with AKA just because of his personality and how charismatic. How he's kind of an asshole, right? And so am I. And I feel like our energies together would just create straight up entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Just straight up entertainment.
Mm,
Right now I'm pushing
sure.
Captain is supposed to come. Cap is supposed to come next week. And then Ginger Trill I'm working on getting right after that. So
Nice.
the 3 of them I think would be dope. Eventually, I do hope to have a sit down with Nasty C because it's Nasty C's music that introduced me to South Africa to begin with. So like, I need to like,
Oh,
I need
wow.
to salute my guy. You know what I'm saying? Just for opening the door to me off what I found, just in general. You know. And then
Mm,
for the 5th one, I think I want to do like I would love to get like a complete curveball and step even maybe outside and get like an Elaine interview. I think an Elaine interview would be super dope, or like
yes.
like a GG interview. I think would be dope. You know what I mean? Something like that. Like Yugen Blackrock. I'm gonna be pushing to get that as quickly as possible. But like I feel like that's very feasible because her and I communicate. You know what I'm saying? Like that's someone that I have an established relationship with, and such admiration for her. So like that should be coming. But yeah, there you go. I gave you 5 and 1 that hopefully is like in my back pocket whenever the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, and according to you, what do you feel now that you've mentioned like Elaine and like Gigi? What is your take on femcs in South Africa? Because I also feel maybe like Rouge would also be a nice add on to your people that you could interview as well. You know, like what is your take on femcs in South Africa?
So I did like an entire female artist week on my channel where I really started diving into just female artists in general. So I did like the Now or Never remix with all the femcs on it and shit like that. So I have at least a decent understanding. I think in general, like I don't know, I feel like they get love. I feel like they're less slept on in I feel like they're less slept on in South Africa than they are in the States. Especially if you look at people like Nadia Nakai, you know what I'm saying, who has like such a huge following, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. Like in general, they make dope music. Like I haven't really found any issue. Like Gigi's flow and Gigi's delivery is so similar to the shit
Yeah,
that I actually do. She's got those impact bars that like, and it just sits and lets you feel them and stuff like that. Rose was definitely dope.
yeah,
I need more of her before I give like an opinion. But in general, now
sure.
there's talent all around, and I don't think the ladies are necessarily behind or anything like that. I see
Mm.
PQ's quote unquote femcs. This is a topic her and I spoke about.
Why
So
is he? Does he have like why does he put that in inverted commas? PQ, please do explain yourself.
But nah, yeah, overall, I think that the super dope as far as the overall market goes, and I don't hear otherwise. Like here, like in the States, you do hear a lot of downplay on female MCs. Whereas
Yeah.
if it exists still, I'm not saying it doesn't exist there. I don't hear it as much. Like especially on my Twitter, the people I surround myself with, the people I'm in conversations with, and stuff like that. I feel like that doesn't exist. Like there exists a mutual respect.
I think also another thing we need to. I think another thing that we as well, South Africa, the one thing that always happens is that people tend to always like compare American hip hop and South African hip hop. So now, especially when it comes to like femcs or female rappers, let me put it, lady rappers in that instance, they're always complaining that we don't hear bars, we don't hear anything that's going on. All we see is just like six, and we don't hear ladies going at it. Like why is that happening and everything like that. And for me, it's just like they there. It's just that sometimes I feel like they're not taking seriously, like as opposed to their counterparts, which are the male rappers, And I just feel like with women, like we should definitely just push in a bit, like next year or even going forward, like we should just be more respected. And I don't understand why people love to always just like are very hard on female rappers. What is your take on that? Like with female rappers, what is your take on the sense that like they're very hard on female rappers? It's the same thing in the States as well. Like for every one rapper, people will say that for every one female rapper, they'll say that there's 10 guys in that are going to be in representation and everything of that nature. So what is your take on it? Because it really does frustrate me at times that I feel like they are women rappers, but maybe there's a missing link going on.
I have a very elaborate, thought out take on this. First of all, shout out to PQ, Queen Aziza down there. I see her getting upset.
Firstly, what part is killing me is that I have a very elaborate thoughts. I've got the answers for this, so just be ready for it.
Yeah, I like getting into this, but I had to give my shout out first. I see her getting flustered down there. That's my heart down there. I love her. All right, so here's my take on this. Right, I think when you said like the overall opinion is women rap too much about sex, or like especially like in here, it's not just an SA thing. You know what I'm saying? It's universal, right? Men love to try and dictate what women should or shouldn't be allowed to talk about, and I think that instead of saying, "Oh no, women can do hard bars too," blah blah, I think women should shout out, like straight up be able to talk about whatever the fuck they want to talk about, and just like every other rap artist out there, either you are going to like it or you're not going to like it and move on. There is a good chance that the people who are complaining about that, as we spoke before, are not the target audience for those bars, period. It is no difference. Me being upset at Cardi B's WAP doing well is no different than the lyricist rapper out there being upset at mumble rap. You're not the fucking target audience for it. It's not that, and it's not that somebody should or shouldn't rap a certain way. It's, are you even the person that they're fucking talking to? You know what I'm saying? If somebody's talking about, and excuse my vulgarity, but like we're in hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So if somebody's bars are like, yo, my pussy is popping, and you're like, oh, I don't feel that, chances are you don't have a pussy, so shut the fuck up. Like, it's not about you. And like, women have been subjected to just as vulgar of lyrics from men historically, and like, you never really hear the, oh, I'm tired. Like, Juvenile's Back That Ass Up was like the hottest shit when that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and insert a million other examples. Like,
it really was an anthem at some point,
Exactly, and I feel like in general, when you're talking about this topic, you have to look at who the commentaries are coming from, right? You have to look at what the intent is of the commentary. Is the intent to try and control women and what they can and can't say, or is the feedback genuine? Because sometimes the feedback can be coming from a genuine, constructive criticism type stand place. If you have somebody who is claiming to be a lyricist, you have a female MC who is claiming to be like, hey, I am the hottest lyricist, and here comes a 16 that is the hottest lyricist bars, period, and your complaint is that the material is repetitive, Well, I think that's a legitimate critique then. But there's a big difference between that being a critique and saying women should stop rapping about this. Like, there's a huge difference between the two of them. And I don't mean to keep going on and on and on about this, but it is a topic that's come up in conversation, and I always rap for my ladies. I love women. I think that we are moving in the right direction with the whole protect women movement as we go forward. I think women, as far as musicians, as artists and stuff like that, have more respect than they ever have, and I think that we're on the right trajectory, specifically with other male artists who are in positions of power defending their female counterparts. And I think sooner rather than later, we're going to get to a point where we normalize the just eradication of that. It's outdated. It's archaic. It's archaic ways of thinking. And I think more and more the people who have an opinion of female should hush up and rap how I want them to rap, I think they're going to be looked at the way that insert other archaic ways of thinking are looked at. You know what I mean? And they're going to be silenced, and they're going to look like the fucking asshole sooner rather than later. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm seeing comments over here busy saying, talk that shit, Stevie, we with you, we with you, we feeling you, friend.
See, that's what I'm talking about, though. Like,
I love what
like people are on the same wave, you know what I'm saying?
No, they definitely are, and it's always nice to get different opinions of this subject, because we so in a way we sort of conditioned that women must just be like, oh, how we can't just be, what can I say, we can't just be overly sexy and everything like that, because it's just too much for people. And when Cardi B came with that WAP, people were like, oh, okay, this my ish, I'm feeling all this, I love this and everything like that. And it's what women have been talking about for the longest time, because if you get guys that talk about, just basically have albums talking only about weed, only talking about alcohol, or talking even about women themselves in such a very, very ill manner, why can't women also be the same? Unfortunately, that's how it is, because I was just on a podcast where we were talking about gender, and I know one of my friends was just like, no, we can't do anything, but unfortunately,
you started to break up. You started to break up a little bit. Can you repeat that? You broke up a little bit. I lost you.
Oh, okay. What was the last thing that you heard me say, if you don't mind me asking? What was the last thing you
were on
say?
A podcast, and then you started to break up.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I was saying that I was on a podcast basically, and I was just emphasizing the way in which how women have been viewed, how women have just been basically been treated, and that's unfortunately how it's always been done anyway. So I like the fact that you're saying that you're standing up for women, and you are definitely all for it, and just
I
we
lose
need
you.
more of that rather than just that.
We lost her. Give it a second.
Steve?
I'm sure it'll come back. There she is. Lost you for a second.
So basically, what I was just to basically sum up what I was saying, I love the fact that you love what women are doing. Instead of bashing, you're admiring what women are doing. That's what I was just basically saying.
100%.
So just to basically go onto your YouTube as well, because I want to also speak a bit about that as well. 5,000 subscribers, that's pretty impressive. How does that make you feel?
It's unprecedented in my mind. So like I'm a marketing guy, right? So I had a plan to get 1,000 subscribers after 2 years. That was my plan. I went to hit 1,000 subs in 2 years. And I started my channel, I started uploading videos March 23rd. So we're now 7 months later, and we're at 5,000 subs, ready to push 6,000. I think we're about to hit 5.2K. And that's before all of these big projects are about to come out with all the stuff that I have in the works right now, where I'm expecting to see exponential growth come from that too. And it feels amazing. I mean, amazing is not even the word. Like it's one of those things where like blindsided, but at the same time, my work ethic is able to keep up with the demand that the subs and you know what I'm saying, the responsibility to the fan base and stuff like that is created. And I don't know how much of that I'm responsible for because I have such an amazing team. The GS gang that shares the stuff through Twitter, Instagram, shares the videos with their friends and family. I give them all of the credit because without them, I am nothing. Like this doesn't exist. I'm just another voice lost in the YouTube world, and we've managed to create something in 7 months during this pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like we've managed to create something that's just feels genuinely unique. And with the stuff that's about to come out, like I think it's actually going to change hip hop. I think it's like I talked when I was talking to PQ. I made a joke on Twitter about like the best part about my interview with her on the channel was that people are witnessing history and they don't even know it yet because they didn't know about the podcast that was about to be coming out. They didn't know about the other projects that we have that are in the works and stuff like that. And it's just a beautiful, insane thing when you get these people who are just genuinely interested in the culture and genuinely interested in progressing the conversations that are going to support artists and stuff like that. You get them together, it's insane. And so, yeah, the 5K thing is, I don't want to say overwhelming because I feel like we're handling it really well. You know what I'm saying? But, like, it's humbling. It's humbling.
No, it's pretty impressive though. And I just wanted to know from you, also with regards to basically just being a creative. I just want to know what was the motivation to keep going because you know everyone's got their different answers and everything, but what was the motivation to keep you going? Because I'm sure there were days where you just felt like giving up, but like what was it that just gave you that motivation to make sure that everyone still listens to your voice, listens to your critique, and basically just listen to your podcast, or it's not even podcast, your YouTube channel, sorry.
I've never once thought about quitting. There's never been like
really?
What made you keep? I don't make content for you or them or anyone else. I make shit that I want to watch. And that's what my mentality going into. Like, I got into reacting because I didn't like watching the shit other people were putting out. I started rapping because I thought the people that I heard rapping were trash and I could do better. I will outbar anybody. I will outreact whoever it is. I make content for me that I like. I don't give a fuck what the comments say. People, if I had 1,000 comments and every one of them were people telling me I'm trash, I'm still putting out just as many videos the next day. Like, the fact that I have a supportive fan base is absolutely amazing and humbling, and I love it. But I do this for me. I do it because I love hip-hop. I do it because I am hip-hop. This is my culture. I've been involved in it my entire life. I owe being alive to hip-hop culture and the music that has gotten me through the darkest times of my life. And I didn't do this. You couldn't tell me 7 months ago that in 7 months I was going to be on a podcast with a rapper that was in my top 5 and one of the illest journalists I've ever like. You couldn't have convinced me that. There's no way I could have predicted that. You know what I mean? Sure. I literally just did it because I enjoyed the content personally and I wanted to do it. So yeah. And if I'll tell you what, and if it ever came to a point where I wanted to quit, I just would. It's as simple as that. If it became
That's pretty much
not fun, like I'm very selfish. I'm not a good person. I'll make that very clear. Like I'm very egotistical. I'm self-motivated by everything. So like, transparency. I'm all about
You're
transparency.
a selfish person, but I'll never forget what you said on Jimmy Wizard's interview. You're like, yeah, I'm egotistic, but I'm a softie. You know, people don't think that I'm a softie. You know, I'm a softie at heart. You know. I was just like, wow, okay.
I'll battle rap and tear somebody's head off, but I cry all the time.
That's what I was talking about. That's exactly it. So just speak to us a bit about the podcast that's going to be happening with SteveGT. You know, I just want to hear a bit about that. That's impressive, though. You know, I want to hear all about that.
I think the podcast that's going to be coming out is going to it's going to help shape hip hop, specifically in South Africa, but not limited to. And here's the best thing about it. I think everybody involved thinks that it's going to be bigger than everybody else involved seems to realize. That's like the best thing about it. Like the image that we all have in our heads of how big and how expansive it is just it honestly, like, it's impossible almost to verbalize. And when you look at how the three of us interact and how the three of us are work as a unit and as a team. Like even just the creation like of the podcast. If you take like Stogie is good for the big ideas. I woke up one morning to a text message from Stogie talking about like, yo, how do you feel about being in a podcast with me and Aziza? And I'm like, yes sir, yeah, we could do that. That could be a thing. So like he comes up with like these broad ideas, right? And then my marketing takes over. So then I take the idea of a podcast and I break it down into a structure to where like, here's like 1,000 different segments that could go awesome. My creative brain starts taking over. We could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And then it starts to take form. And then PQ comes in and she goes and she's like the one that actually like, she's the glue that puts it all together, where she goes and she's like, well, this is the order. Like, here's realistically, here's the time frame. Everybody stop talking about hypotheticals. Let's actually, like, put this into an actionable plan. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we all play a different role in it. And it's allowing us to create what is going to be insane content. And when you guys hear some of the insane things and segments that we're going to do, like, it's going to be important to hip-hop for a couple of reasons. Like, you talk about like let's talk about it, right? It's important that we're going to spend just as much time on the rappers with 17 subs that we do with the rappers that have 17 million subs. And there's not going to be a difference in there's not going to be a different treatment. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
That's huge for me. Like if you ever look at how I treat artists and how I interact with artists, sub count means nothing. We are there for the culture. We are there for the content, for the talent, the skill. That's like first and foremost. Secondly, Stogie is a genius. Aziz is a genius. Like you put them together, and it's just like it's the content that is going to come out of it is like no one's doing it. Sure. Still, I don't know what I'm allowed to tell, what I'm not allowed to tell, but I own half. I own 1/3 of the podcast, so I can talk about what I want to, right?
Okay. Do it like this. Like, you know in the movies when they give you a trailer before the big thing comes through? Give us like a sneak peek of like, if you had to just describe it for me, what is it that I can look forward to? Like, what is it that I can be excited about? Because already the collaboration is an excitement on its own, but like, just give us a sneak peek of what is it that we can actually look forward to. Oh, I'm being told don't do it. No.
Here's what I feel comfortable being able to tell you guys that's not coming to actuality, right? You can look forward to having a platform to put on as many. She's talking shit. As your business partner, I tell you to shut the fuck up. I look forward to having a platform where we can freely and openly discuss topics that are avoided on most other topics. There's not going to be that kind of like taboo talk. There's going to be very, very honest communication in a safe kind of spot amongst three people who get each other, which is going to be dope. We have each of us are going to have opportunities to put people on in the beginning, like, yo, what was going on during your week and stuff like that, so where we're going to be able to plug people. We're going to have a platform with us that everyone has eyes on, where I'm going to hear about all the stuff that Aziz is doing on the radio. I'm going to hear about Stogie's album. You're going to hear about stuff that's happening on my YouTube channel to get eyes on artists and eyes on people that they wouldn't normally have, which is going to help the functionality of everybody. There's going to be there's going to be at least 30,000 segments that are going to be super controversial behind a Patreon wall that we plan on putting out. You know what I mean? Like that. That's one thing that's going to be coming up. I don't want to get too into detail, obviously, with some of the stuff, but if you ask me a specific question, I'll give you a specific answer. But in general, music, direct artist communication. International. Sure. There's going to be a lot of international stuff that's going on, and it's not just South Africa either. We plan on covering artists from Ghana, artists from Nigeria, artists from the United States, from the UK, from Australia. Like, the idea for this is to bring cultures together as much as we can, and we are every one of us are pulling resources. We're pulling resources from the people that we know, the networking that we've done, to benefit everybody involved. And it's a beautiful thing. There's no ego involved. There's no there's really not even like
It's just for the
a
culture.
motive. Exactly. There's no motive. There's no hidden agenda. Hey, shout out to the No Hidden Agenda podcast. But like there's no like
Yeah. Yeah.
the, it's all just pure for the love of hip hop and to do something that we
Yeah.
feel like we can do that no one else is doing that will benefit the culture.
Sure. I love that. I love that so much. And that's also what Ithekuconnect is all about. It's just basically connecting cultures, basically people connecting together. Man, I really, really just love everything that you've just said. It's all gems. I love one of the comments that was on here that where it's shout out to Megan, where she had said that it's collaboration over competition. I don't know if you agree with that, but I certainly do agree with that, that collaboration does wonders. So for you, for as from an international point of view, how is it that South African hip hop artists can try and get their music abroad? Because we always sing like SoundCloud links, YouTube links, and everything. What is it that you think that they can do to better themselves, or maybe basically just put their art out there?
I think, and I talked about this in reference to Casper. I got to ask questions on one of the things about like as far as like getting the international features and stuff like that. I think one of the biggest missteps that I see with South African artists is that there's no centralized HUD, and I've talked about this before in lives, where I don't see like you need to have the same name tag, right? You have to do education. I think artists need more education as far as search engine optimization goes, so that you're able to find their music and that it's all centralized in the same place. I think that they need to have that type of a HUD when it comes to marketing. When it comes to like why aren't you on YouTube? If you're not making the YouTube videos, you don't have everything under your name on YouTube, and you have all these other people on. If you search like right now, when I just dropped the shout out to P.O, that's my guy, right? I just did a reaction to the best rapper alive, but it wasn't on his YouTube page. I'm looking at his YouTube page and it's not there. I had to find somebody else who jacked his song from wherever he posted it and uploaded it to YouTube. And now people are watching my reaction on somebody's YouTube page that's not P.O, that somebody could be wanting to reach out to him and network with him to get that. And when it comes to and to answer your question directly, when it comes to international collaborations, the biggest misstep is going to be if I don't know how to get in touch with you. Because if all you're worried about is connecting with people in SA, everybody in SA knows how to get a hold of you. Everybody in SA knows how to hit you up or where to hit you up or where to get you. I don't, in Philly, I don't know any of that shit. I spent 7 months digging into the culture and establishing relationships. That's why I know how to talk to people and where to get a hold of them. My next door neighbor doesn't know that. If they hear me playing a song through my walls that they like, they don't know how to get in touch with those artists and stuff like that. So I think by not having the education on the search engine optimization so that they're easy to find and having one just like connected spot where everything goes and having ownership over that connection, I think that's the biggest misstep, because there may be people who want to connect and want to reach out and want to network, and how the fuck am I supposed to do it?
Yeah. I'm looking at what Mahut is saying right now. He's saying it's so difficult to find these dudes here in SA, bro. But I like the fact that, you just basically just gave a bit of a heads up as to what is it that artists need to do. And also work on your branding. For me, that is the biggest thing ever. Like, at least work on your branding for something that I can be able to recognize and I will be able to work with as well. Because if you're going to be like, hey, listen, I want to work with you. I want to actually just, just collaborate with you, and yet your branding isn't on point. I'm not going to take you seriously, unfortunately, because there's going to be someone else that has all the stuff into order, but is able to give me something that I can be able to work with. And I think also on an international appeal, have something that you can be able to work with as well.
Shout out, all right, so Mr. Huma, shout out to my guy down there too, just made that comment. So apparently he said that the YouTube page that I did that on, right, was actually P.O's actual YouTube page. It's not under his stage name, but that was his actual government name, right? This this just furthers my point though. How am I supposed to know that? Like there's no way for me to know that. You know what I mean? Like, and that just furthers my point. Like, it's cool that he knows that because my guy is like locked in to SA hip hop culture 100%. But there's no, like, if you want to make music for your 10 friends and only make music for your 10 friends, then that's fine. Do whatever you want. But when you start talking about how can I get international eyes, how can I, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can I get these connections and stuff like that? That's just, it's not acceptable. It's not realistic to think that that move, that type of an action can possibly ever relate to somebody in Philadelphia, somebody in Los Angeles, somebody in New York, having any idea that that's your government name and knowing to look for it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying?
Also, another issue that we obviously, experience in South Africa is that data, unfortunately, is a bit of an issue, and also information as well, because not everyone is going to have these type of conversations whereby we can be open and honest about like what is it that artists need to do and what is it that artists can try and push on as well.
Dude, it's almost like if only there was like some type of a platform or like a podcast where people who knew these type of things could talk about that and give these gems and nuggets of information out there. Man, the first team of people who do something like that to really help these artists out and give these gems of information, they're going to change hip-hop. They're going to do something really, really special for these up-and-coming artists.
Definitely.
Somebody should get on that. That's a good idea. Somebody should get on that.
No, definitely. I don't know if you know of anyone that does that, but we should definitely have something along those lines. I love the fact that like everyone is interacting with us within the comments. Like I see that Masil is also saying that you're correct, Steve, and I see that a lot of people are relating to what we're basically talking about. Just also diving into the interviews also that you did with Stogie T and Jimmy was, how was that for you though? Like how did it feel interviewing someone that like you had said that was in your playlist, but how did it actually feel to interview that person?
So as far as Jimmy goes, I talked about this on Twitter a little bit too. Like it's almost insane how instantly Jimmy and I connected. Like when Jimmy and I started talking and Jimmy and I started linking up and stuff like that, it was like talking to somebody that I had known for fucking years. You know what I mean? Like we instantly were just like, boom. It was like insane the way that it linked up. So doing the interview and having the opportunity to, first of all, wasn't even hard to get. Like when you get artists who are interested in talking to you and appreciate the platform and the opportunity to get the eyes on them and what it is, and there's no ego involved, it was like, it was super awesome just to have like a real down to earth conversation with him. And like that's my guy for life. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that shit was super fucking dope with him. As far as like the Stogie stuff goes, by the time the interview with Stogie actually came out, him and I had already been talking on a fucking basically daily basis. You know what I'm saying? Like him, I, and PQ are in a group chat, you know what I'm saying, on WhatsApp together and stuff like that. We had already been collaborating on ideas for the podcast. But originally, that the feeling of like hopping in his lives. So like the first time he pulled me into one of his lives and I started rapping and dropping bars in his lives and we very, very first started connecting. One of the first things he told me is that my biggest fan in the world was his mom. That his mom's was my biggest fan of my reactions and stuff like that. And like it blew me away. Like what do you even say to that? Like that was insane to me. So like it took, there was a bit of like, because I'm a fan first, I'm always going to be a fan first. You know what I'm saying? There's always that starstruck thing that happened. And I was just like, yo, is this reality? Like 5 months ago, I didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? And now I have this person who I listen to in my house that like, that's my guy. That's my G. Like we talk like that. You know what I mean? And like, you don't realize, but like Stogie's like such a down to earth dude. He puts on a little bit of a cool, cold exterior and stuff like that. But the second you crack that and you get him just to laugh once and he opens up, like look at the interview. Look at how he like comes out of his shell and he loves to talk. He loves talking to people and stuff like that. Like it's entirely different, man. And it feels blessed. It does. I feel super blessed and super like, I don't know. I'm in a position that I didn't think I would be in, and I feel like me and the whole team, I think we're all capitalizing on each other very, very well, and we're using it for good purposes, which is important. It's not a wasted it's not a wasted
No,
opportunity. You know what I mean?
no, definitely. And yeah, man, like, dude, I've been enjoying this interview. It's actually been so nice and refreshing. And just, it's also good to know that in and as much as you like overseas and everything like that, you live in a different side of the world, but you're still able to just be.
We're getting cut off. We're getting cut off in 20
1
seconds.
minute.
Did you want to jump into another
Okay.
one?
Yeah, I could jump into another one. It's no problem.
All right, because we got 10 seconds where I was cut off. All right, so if you guys want, we're going to hop out of this. I'm going to save this, post it. Give me 15 seconds. I'll start another live, and we'll jump into another one, okay?
Yeah, Steve, I'm back.
We back with it. I missed you.
And I'm so grateful that everyone is loving the interview and the conversation that's basically happening.
Yeah, feedback looks really good so far.
Yeah. So I'm just going to also put you in a bit of a tricky corner again. Give me your 5, like now, this is just overall. Can include essay, can include anyone. 5 dopest MCs that you think that, like, bar for bar, they dope, whatever. Like, whatever vibe you're on, be it happiness, sadness, or whatever, they get you. They feel you. So 5, it can be anyone, South African or non-South African.
My top 5, I got you. Not a tricky position. I live in hip hop. This is what we do. Let's get it. Let's talk our shit. Okay. Let's go, Queen. Number 1. So I got a number 1, and then the others are in no particular order. All right.
Okay.
Number
and
1.
You've got to give a reason, though. You've got to give a reason so that, like, people know as to what the reasoning is as well. So you just got to, whoever it is, the artist, then your reasoning as well. So yeah, let's get to it.
All right. Number 1, Joe Budden. Period. Beginning and end of story. Okay. Joe Budden, to me, alive, dead, period. Best lyricist, best MC that's ever done it. Reasoning for it, okay. Ordinary Love Shit Part 4. OLS 4 is the realest track that I have ever heard in my entire life. There's every single bar is a quotable. It's not rap, it's real life. It's relatable. For me personally, mood music, Joe Budden's whole discography. I went through a very dark period of my life where suicide seemed like a very viable option at one point, and if it wasn't for Joe Budden's music, I may have decided to take that route. And Joe Budden's music saved me by letting me feel like I wasn't alone with a lot of the shit that I was going through. It is by far the most intimate discography that I've ever listened to, as far as getting a peek and a window into someone's life. And when he writes and he raps, this is what did it for me. Like, there's nothing forced about his bars. It doesn't feel like he's rapping. It feels like he has such a mastery. He has such a mastery over the English language and the way that he writes.
Yes.
It feels like those words were always supposed to exist in that order when they were created. Yeah. And very few artists make me feel that way. Very few artists make me feel like they just it's divine almost. Like it wasn't even them doing it. It was just supposed to be that way. So I'm the biggest Joe Budden fan.
I think also one thing I like about Joe, other than music, also his podcast. Even though now it's sort of like over and done with, he actually talks his shit. You know, he talks his shit. He knows the game. He knows what he's talking about, and he makes you feel some type of way as well. Whether it's angry, but you're just like, I'm feeling angry with the reason, you know, or whether you're happy or whatever, that type of thing. He definitely does hit that emotion that you need to feel at that given moment.
Absolutely. And it's something that will just, for me, will never go away. It's just the way, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's something for me that's just, it's always going to be there. If somebody doesn't feel the same way, I also don't argue with them either. You know what I mean? Like, it's not worth arguing over, because I also understand that I found his music at an important time in my life when I needed to find his music. I found his music when I needed it. And if you didn't have that experience and you talk to somebody and they're like, oh, the pump it up guy, like, I'm not even having a conversation with that person that doesn't, we're not looking at it through the same lens. You dig me?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we got,
with you.
Well, you guys already know Stogie T is in my top 5. I talk about that all the time.
Sure.
Stogie jumped in my top 5 when he's never stopped amazing me. Every single time that I think I have my fingers on the pulse of what makes Toomey in the volume, what makes Stogie T, I find some other insane hidden gem that just blows my mind. And it could be stuff that's like super, like everyone knows about God's Eye. And like listening to that and like on the reaction on the first playthrough, it was like, Jesus Christ, this is amazing. And then like it could be something like the journey through Paris that he did with the Chinese man. I've never seen any artist ever do anything like that. I text this man as soon as I got done watching that. I text him and I said, yo, don't you ever fucking argue with me about you being in my top 5 ever again. This shit was incredible, right? But there's more to that when it comes to Stogie. There's more than that too, because it's not just the music with him. Like he's in there as an artist, and I tell him about this too. Like when I was introduced to him for this Freestyle Friday, the way that I seen him interacting with the youth, and the way that I seen him critiquing positively and constructive, like giving the opportunity to be accessible, to have people jump in the live and get the opportunity to spit with him. Like your GOAT's not doing that. Whoever you consider to be they're not doing that. I've never seen it happen. And like him and like knowing how important the youth is and trying to put like I seen a 14-year-old hop in a live and spit bars and be influenced by this man. And like that's so important to me. And not only is it important that they're young, but listen to the music. He's not writing lean music. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not talking about using drugs and shaking asses and disrespecting women. You have the youth that is listening to real lyricism and real messages and real life experiences. And that is what they're going to understand as hip hop. And I think that's so important. And then like all of that combined with the fact that my guy, you know what I mean, he's got bars for fucking days and can write somebody on their table. All of that compact and put together is what really kind of like, I don't know, it does the whole package for me. You feel me?
Yeah. You know, earlier on when you were speaking about target audience, when the Freestyle Friday came through, I was just like, oh yes, hip hop. You know, because sometimes, you know, you like you said, you used to some type of hip hop, and then when you're hearing like, you know, some conscious-ish, you're just like, okay, I'm feeling this, I like this. You know, it was very different, and it was something that actually was needed in SA. Like we see ciphers, but it's nice that, like you said, when your GOAT or a person that a well-known artist is actually giving platforms to other people or telling other people that, no, look out for this type of artist, this is the flow that they have. It's such a great feeling. It really, really was. So shout out to Stogie T for the Freestyle Fridays. That was really, really dope. So now we're on to number 3.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this actually. Never mind. Yeah, I'm gonna go on to number 3. There may or may not allegedly, hypothetically, be some news around the IP ownership of Freestyle Friday, but you didn't hear it from me. I don't know about it. Moving on. Okay. Number 3. I have to go with my guy, Lou from Paradise, aka Lou the Human. Is he gonna be in your top 5 right now? Probably not. I'm on record of saying that he's probably 2 albums away from being cemented, but I have the foresight and the I don't know. I would put my money on it that he's going to be there. So for me, he goes by Lou from Paradise now because he got out of a label contract situation, and there was a lot that needed to come into it to get him released from all that. So he took up Lou from Paradise. Why is he in my top right now? When I first discovered him, I couldn't listen to anybody else. I don't know how else to, like his sounds and the way he was delivering stuff and his swagger and just everything about him. Like I can't help but like mouth along with it. Like it consumes you when you get into it. And he just once he starts going, when he starts on a track, he just doesn't stop. He just goes the fuck off. And his delivery and bar setup isn't traditional. He's not delivering necessarily traditional punchlines. He has a very slick way of writing that still hits the metaphor, still hits the simile, but it's not as spoon-fed. A lot of punchlines, a lot of punchline rappers, a lot of metaphor simile rappers spoon-feed you bars to where you can tell it's coming. If you've been listening to rap long enough, you know what they're about to say. You can predict the end of the line before they get there with how the delivery is. You know what I'm saying? When it comes with Lou from Paradise, like, yo, Lou's a fucking problem, and you never know where it's coming from. And I just did a reaction. He just dropped something yesterday. Literally just dropped something yesterday. And beginning to end, it was just fire. Like, he never ceases to fucking amaze me with it. And it's like, that type of uniqueness, and the fact that he sounds, his actual sound, he has more like a high-pitched kind of voice and stuff like that. So, like, he cuts through your playlist because he doesn't sound like every other fucking person that's out there. Like, he gets on the track, there's no like, oh, who is that? Who is that feature? Like, nah. If Lou's on the fucking track, you know Lou's on the fucking track. Like, he's a monster. Like, I can't even, like, I don't know, man. I'm a fan. Like I said, I'm a fan first. So this stuff, like, really, like, I don't know. I'm passionate about it when it comes to that. And, like, I can see, he's one of the ones where I can see somebody could come up with a critique as to why they're not. And that's why I said I think he's 2 projects right now. I think in 2 projects, I'll have a much better argument to go back and forth with somebody. So right now, I'm just copping a plea and saying that he's 2 projects away. But I'm banking on my foresight to say that's where he's going to be. You feel me?
Okay. That's really dope. That's really dope. And then, yeah, your next artist.
4 and 5 are going to be rough. I'm going with Kiss. Jadakiss got to be in there.
Okay.
So my man still ain't had one whack verse since the 90s. Like, when it comes to Kiss is talking to the streets. He's the voice of the streets.
Definitely.
My guy would have went 10 times diamond if they sold CDs in the cells. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gutter. He's the punchline flow. He's been a huge influence on me, which, like, I can't say Stogie's been an influence on me because he's someone newer that I've been. You know, I've been rapping for 17 years. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I didn't know of him then. Jada's been around forever. He's been consistent forever. He's been dope forever. And there's not too many people that I listened to for that long from that era that not only do I, like, appreciate their music, like, I don't listen to a lot of old school rap, period. Like, at all. Like, people that have been around, like, I don't listen to none of it when it was hot, let alone still to this day. If I find out Jada dropped something new, like, you know that's getting spun, like that's getting spun that day. So Jada's probably there, just super consistent, super punchline flow. The longevity, all of that is going and just, like, cementing that for me. You know what I'm saying? Plus,
No, definitely.
Jada's one of those people where, like, if you don't mention him, I kind of look at you a type of way. You know, like,
Otherwise, you just really.
you probably not cut. You and I probably aren't cut from the same cloth if you ain't got that respect for Kiss. You know what I'm saying? Like, we probably don't have the same upbringing. You and I probably aren't from the same hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, if you like, yo, Kiss ain't my top list, and you're from suburbia, I get that. That's fine. But you and I don't have any business having a conversation about this. Then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it puts you separate. Like, if you didn't come up with the locks and stuff like that, like, that's cool. It's not for everybody, but we're not cut from the same cloth. We're not having the same conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One thing I like about Jadakiss, you just know by just his laugh that
God.
the guy has entered the book. The
Iconic.
legend has entered you just know it's over. It's over. You just gotta do what you just gotta go away now because the legend has entered the building. I remember when he did that versus battle, Fabulous. It was just like he was just feeling himself, and it's just like he deserves it. He deserves those bragging rights anyway, you know, because he's worked so hard to get to where he needs to be. So nah, man, like Jadakiss, he is really, really dope at what he does, and like I said, you just know.
And you made a great example. Like, when he did the jaunt with Fab too, they did the Freddie vs. Jason jaunt. Like, when that came out, you hadn't heard a concept track in 10 years. You hadn't heard a concept track in 10 years by the time when that came out. And they made it dope as shit. They bodied that. And like nobody else, like no one had been doing, you used to like, you know, like 06, 07, 05, there was a lot like rapmusic.com, goldmike.com, 02 era, you had deathspits.com, concept tracks were everywhere. By the time the Freddy vs. Jason joint came out, oh shit, you didn't have nobody doing that. I got too hype. I done knocked the fucking phone over and shit. I get too into it, man. I get too into it. But yeah, by the time all that stuff was happening, man, it was refreshing to hear them go back into it, and the fact that it was as dope as it was, like, what can you even say? What can you even say, man? They played off each other so fucking good, and you were locked in from beginning to end. 5.
Yeah. Your last one.
5's gonna be rough. This could go a million different ways. Here's what I will say. I'm gonna give a pick, but I'm also gonna give an audible, an option. All right. So right now, I'm gonna go with Montana 300, and I'm gonna go with Montana 300 because not only is his catalog fucking massive, not only can he do everything, right? He does it at a high elite level, right? Like he's got the icon. You talk about Jada's laugh. He's got the iconic ad lib. You hear that fucking stupid shit come on the track, you know that it's about to be fucking him. Unlike the other ones, he's gonna make you laugh. He doesn't necessarily always take himself too serious. You're not gonna get a comedy track from Jadakiss. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to Jada because you want the street shit, right? You're not gonna get a comedy track from Budden. You go to him because you want the emotional shit. You know what I'm saying? With Montana, you got "Fuck Your Brains Out," where he got a whole song rapping and singing and joking about fucking your brains out and all the little little jokes here and there. But it's still dope. Plus, he's transitioned into this new age of rap where he's got the kind of sing-song shit, right? Like, he's got that kind of melodic rap vibe that you're not getting with nobody else that's on the list. So he also puts that in there. And then if you look at October down there, she's making a point. So like, my issue with him right now and why there's an option is because I don't necessarily agree with a lot of his personal views as a person. And when it comes to Montana 300, I'm put in this position where it's, do I separate the artist from the art? Do I like the music because the music is fire, or is it tainted? Is there an asterisk next to it because I don't necessarily agree with some very, very strong views that the artist has? So there is this tainted asterisk there. So my option on number 5 is going to go to King ISO. I think King ISO is fucking amazing, and I haven't dove into him enough yet. I just discovered him, but like, from what I've heard, the talent and the versatility, he reminds me of he reminds me of a Montana 300 with the versatility, the flows, the swing, like all the reasons I just praised Montana 300. I feel like there's going to be a very natural transition in my top 5 into King ISO as I go and get into him more. There you go.
Yeah, your top 5. I got that. Thank you so much for that. And it's really interesting that also, like I said, that SA hip hop is on the list. So like, we're doing the most. I'm actually quite proud, you know. So it's really, really cool.
And that's why I get mad. Like, stop saying people are good for SA artists or one of the best in SA. Stop saying that, man. These artists are just fucking dope in general. Stop boxing them in. They have international value. Like, they really do.
Yeah, and you know, you just brought on something that's just actually quite interesting. Then I just saw it now on the comments, whereby some people find it very hard to separate, you know, the art from the artist. So I don't know, how do you actually you know, actually deal with that type of topic? Like, what is it that you do? Do you just like focus mainly on the music, or you just like, okay, this rapper was sort of like, you know, an abuser, so I'm just going to cancel them out? What is your view on that?
I'm not. I'm not a. I'm not in a position of authority to speak on that. I don't believe that I've taken enough time to introspectively give myself an honest answer on how I feel about it. This is something. This is something new for me. This is something that
Mm,
this specific event just happened recently, and
mm,
I struggle with it. I'm not a good person, so I don't really care
mm,
on morality basis. But
mm.
the things that I do care about, I'm very passionate about. So specifically for the Montana 300 thing, I am a big supporter of the LGBTQ community. I am a big supporter
Sure.
of women. And he's gone
Mm,
on some rants recently, slut shaming, uh, go the like the OnlyFans and things of that nature. And my opinion on those things are very, very similar to the way that I was speaking with you about female rappers, in that men love to tell women what they should or shouldn't do with themselves, whether it's their body, their music,
mm,
their sound, their bars, anything like that. And regardless of what you
mm,
feel makes a quality person or not, I don't I don't care what you think or feel. You are entitled to think and feel whatever you want. It's when people start to
mm,
put those thoughts and feelings onto other people, that
mm,
is when I take issue with it. That is when I have decisions that I have to make with how I value this person's opinion and integrity. Because if you think, if
mm.
let's say you're a holy roller, and you're a holy roller, and you
Sure.
feel like anyone that would ever do an OnlyFans is the scum of the world, blah blah blah. That's cool. That's your prerogative. You can think any way you want to think. But the second you go out of
Yeah.
your way to tag these individuals and shame them and try to convert other people to your way of thinking, and things of that nature,
Mm,
and you start to feel as though your ideology is more important or more valuable than anybody else's ideology, that's when I start to
mm,
look at you crooked. That's when, like whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whether it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? There are a few instances where right
yeah.
is right, is wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? With like the big name issues, when you're talking about racism, right is right and wrong is wrong. It's not a matter of opinion on that. But
Mm,
once it gets down to ideology, once it gets down to things that are subjective, unverifiable, faith-based, things like that,
mm.
um,
Yeah.
own your opinions, own your viewpoints, live by it. Don't push it on
Mm,
other people. Don't degrade people who don't think and act and move like you. If you choose not to have them in your life, I support that. That's beautiful. Control your circle, control the
mm,
energies in your life and your chakra and the people that you allow around you. But don't try and ruin somebody else's situation or degrade them or make them feel like less of a person because they don't move and think and act
mm,
with the same moral code that you do. That's whole shit. I don't like that. That's not I can't fuck with
mm,
that. So I can't
mm.
answer your question because I'm still struggling with it myself.
Okay. No, that's totally fine. I just wanted to also know, have you ever been to South Africa before?
Not yet. I do have. I didn't know there was a reason to go to South Africa before before quarantine happened. I have a lot of stuff planned. I'm not sure if you've been following all the Battle League stuff that I've been doing on my channel. Shout out to the
Yeah.
Clash MC Battle
Yeah.
League out of Cape Town. Finals is actually dropping tonight, hopefully into tomorrow. So I do. Yep,
Okay.
I'll be judging that. It'll actually be me, Aziza, and Stogie T as celebrity judges
Oh,
that are
nice.
going to determine
Oh,
who the winner is of the tournament, which is going to enter into one of the things that I'm doing, which is creating this digital battleground where I'm going to put
man.
South African battle leagues versus Australian battle leagues, South African battle leagues versus Philadelphian battle leagues, things like that. I have a lot of stuff that I'm cooking up right now that'll be talked about on the podcast. Another shameless plug. We're doing a lot. We're doing a lot. But no, I've never been to I've never been to South Africa, but God Himself couldn't keep me from visiting there as soon as the COVID-19 is cleared up. I'm gonna put together a nice vacation out there, a nice trip out there. I'm gonna get with Stogie. I'm gonna get with Aziza. I'm gonna get with Jimmy. I'm gonna get with Peter. I'm gonna get with Touchline. I'm gonna reach out to all my people. Shout out to Landmark. I'm gonna reach out to all my people. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna do some cool shit while I'm out there. I'm gonna battle
as well. So just putting it out there as well.
What was that? I didn't hear what you said.
I was saying you've got a new fan here as well, so you can also shout out to me as well when you come through.
I'll send the information out. I'm gonna put together a nice itinerary, but it's not gonna be until everybody's safe. You know what I'm saying? We gotta wait for the stuff to clear up. I'm not gonna jeopardize my own health or anybody on my team's health or nothing like that. So once everything gets situated, I'm gonna make my way there. Everything's gonna be documented. I'm gonna kick it with the fans. I'm gonna kick it with the GS gang. I'm gonna make sure that there's video footage of everything. Tons of shout outs. We're gonna do the podcast live, triple distilled with all 3 people live. Is gonna be fucking monumentous. I can't wait to do that. There's gonna be a lot, man. There's gonna be a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna make my way out there.
Yeah, you should definitely visit South Africa, especially because like we've got nice locations, very mountainous, different types of the provinces, and the weather is also just amazing. So you would definitely love to just come through to South Africa, and you'll also love the people as well. You'll just definitely delve in. You guys will definitely delve in. I see that Queen as well is just going in with the comments. I see her doing her thing.
That's my ace, yo. I fuck with her so heavy. Like she's got my back. It's gonna be, dude. It's gonna be super dope. I can't wait. It's gonna be something special. It's gonna be very selfless. I'm gonna try and connect with as many people as I can while I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? And like these are relationships that I'm building right now that I don't see these relationships going anywhere in the next 80 years. Like, these are relationships that I plan on building and maintaining for the rest of my life. So, it's definitely going to happen.
No, that's cool. And I just wanted to just know, just out of interest, do you let your son listen to hip hop, or you just like, no, he'll listen to whatever he wants to listen to?
When it comes to the terms of what children should or shouldn't listen to, I'm very, very big on letting them decide for themselves. I do not think that a child should be forced into a type of music, into a brand of clothing, into a religion, into anything. These are human beings. My son is a man. My son is a human being that has his own opinions and his own way of thinking. It is my job to educate him on what the difference between reality and music is and what entertainment is. To understand the difference between things that people say in music that they may not actually contribute to and believe in and act on in real life. It is one thing to enjoy violent music. It is another thing to act out in violence in public. It is one thing to enjoy drug-related music. It is another thing to ruin your body by consuming it in real life. So I think my job as a parent, my job as the adult, is to allow my son to enjoy entertainment how he wants to enjoy entertainment and what he finds to be entertaining, as long as he is intelligent in a way to make those decisions and differentiate between the two of them. I don't do drugs, so you've never heard me in any of my bars ever in 17 years of battle rap. I've never once mentioned anything of me doing any type of drugs, but that doesn't mean that my son's not going to hear it just because I don't contribute to it. You know what I mean? So it's our job as the parents to let them be their own people, let them develop their own personalities, but guide them in a reasonable fashion to understand the difference.
Yeah, man, that's really, really cool. I totally respect that. So I just want to know also in terms of like, if there's an artist that is just watching this live interview, how is it that they can try and collaborate with you or send their music? Because I know you probably get like a lot of music, but like, what is it that they can do in order to probably like collaborate with you or just work with you in future?
Cool. So you see J Tree down there. Shout out to John Henry. John Henry and October actually down there too. Those two are my managers of my Discord. So the two of them, if you go to the Discord for the GS gang, we have a system in place. So where if you want me to do reactions to your music, what you do is you submit it to them. They will review it to see that it is the type of content as far as quality goes and as far as content goes that we look for on the channel. And they're kind of like my filter system. And the reason for that is that my job is not to bash someone. So if you submit something to me and I were to just react to it and it's shit, I'm going to tell you how shit it is because I keep it honest with you, right? So the last thing I ever want to do, is find somebody who is just in the beginning of becoming an artist and tear them apart publicly and then have them shy away from hip hop because of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's never my goal. So if somebody does submit something and Jay or Heather, they see something that isn't up to par, whether it's a quality thing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they will message the person who submitted it and explain to them what it is. Like, hey, your audio quality is too bad to put on the channel. Here are some things that you can work on and then resubmit it after you work on these things. Hey, your rhyme schemes are too amateur. Like, you're going to be getting compared to the Joe Budden, the Luda Human, the Montana 300 songs. Like, your songs are going to be on the same channel where we critique those people. I can't give them a score of 80 and give you a score of 79 if you know what I'm saying, if it's a world of difference between the two of them. And who wants to submit something and get a score of 4 points and hear how shit it is? Like, so join the Discord, submit it that way. If you are an established artist who has the quality and you already got the numbers and stuff like that, there's never, oh shit, here we go again. There's never any harm in just reaching out to me. So when it comes to the stuff that I preach about South African artists, when it comes to having a HUD or having the YouTube search engine optimization or Google search engine optimization, I am SteveBussaGS on all platforms. So you can tweet to me. You can hit me up on Instagram. You can hit me up on YouTube, whatever the case may be. I read every comment. I'm not great with the DMs on Instagram, but I do try to get to it every now and then as much as I can. And as I get overwhelming, like I try to get to it as much as I can. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. Steve, this has been nothing but amazing. I really did appreciate yeah, I really did appreciate the interview. It was really nice. Thank you to everyone also that joined. Are there any shout outs that you want to just, give to anyone?
Nah, fuck them. This is about me. Nah, shout out to the whole GS gang, man. I love everybody that holds me down. I appreciate y'all so much. My team in general, not just the GS gang, but you also look at like all the artists I interact with. Like, my channel doesn't exist if they don't continue to put out this great, fantastic quality music. It is all about the artist. It's not about me. I'm just a reactor. I say it all the time. I'm just a reactor. What do I know? I'm just a reactor. Without the artist putting out this beautiful art that they do, my job doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to every one of the artists. The people I fuck with know I fuck with them. They already know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very vocal all the time about the artists that I support and that I love, whether it's SA or otherwise. The GS gang, the people who have been there, who make up the numbers, who make up the views, who make up the requests, they are the heart and soul of everything that we do. They're my plug. They're the ones that keep me grounded. They tell me when I'm trash, and they tell me when I fuck something up. They tell me when I miss something. They tell me when I miss something. They tell me when you know what I'm saying, like, if I don't understand, they translate for me. My team, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't just cover English stuff. I cover everything. You know what I'm saying, even if it's not in my language. So my team is constantly looking out for me. So shout out to the GS gang. Shout out to the artists. Look, Ryu just came in there. Shout out to the whole Clash MC Battle League. We talked about that earlier. He's mad late, but you know what I'm saying, like, all the artists that we're going to be collaborating with as far as the battle platforms go, as far as the podcasts go, I can't go into enough about how much I want to thank Aziza and Stogie T for the opportunity of all the great stuff that, the three of us are going to be creating together. I think it's going to be beautiful for hip-hop. Shout out to Rio, my #1 Indian fan. Might be my only Indian fan, but that's my guy. Yeah, I think that covers most of my bases, man.
Basically, the shout out. So, before we just wrap up everything, I just want to know from you, especially because you've pretty much reviewed quite a lot of people. What is your message to, you know, like hip hop artists who are like trying to like get their music out there and they just don't have that motivation to like probably carry on because they feel that, you know, their music is not good enough? What is your message to them?
Quit. Fuck them. I told you earlier, like, quitting never crossed my mind. I'd never once thought about not doing this. And if I thought about not doing this, if I didn't want to do this anymore, if I thought it wasn't fun, what I tell you I would do? I would just stop. Just that simple. Like, if you, the artists who make it, the people, when it comes to entrepreneurship, no one has ever fucking made it in entrepreneurship that has ever thought about the word quit. If you sit down and you're just like, yo, if you're like, yo, man, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not that good, blah, blah, blah. You're probably fucking not. Like, I'm a big believer in the person who says that they can and the person that says that they cannot are both correct. Like, if you need to rely on somebody else's motivation and somebody else's advice for you to go out and get what you want, you don't fucking deserve it. Like, I don't know how else to put that, man. Like I'm an entrepreneur first. You know what I'm saying? I'm in marketing first. Like there are certain principles when it comes to running a business, when it comes to entrepreneurship, that cross over into artistry. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm not talking about, oh, I had a bad day, so I had a bad, like, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who are generally like, I feel the need to go out and fish for somebody else to tell them to keep going. Those in I'm not, there's a difference between, like, artists are the most insecure people that you will ever meet in your life. Artists are the most sensitive human beings you will ever meet in your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with seeking validation. But there is something wrong with needing validation to continue your craft. Like, it's not, you if you want to create and put beautiful shit into the world, that's dope. If you want to become a burden to others because it's now their responsibility to keep you motivated, you're not going to make it anyway. You're wasting everybody's time. Get the fuck out of here. Beat it. Yeah, I'm not about holding people's hands. I'm not about, I'm not, like, you're only as strong as your weakest link. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need a million rappers that are trash, that have no interest or no passion on getting it. But at the same time, the rapper that's garbage, the rapper that's trash, that will never give up and never stop worrying about their craft and will always have a student mentality and always try to learn and always go and ask for advice and always apply the advice that's given, they're going to make it every time. They're going to make it every single time. And they don't necessarily need me to placate to them or need me to give them those advices and stuff like that. And I'm sorry if it sounds harsh, but, like, also, who the fuck am I? What do I know? Like, maybe I'm not the person they should be getting advice from.
You freaking SteveBussaGS. Come on now.
Tell them again. But nah, like, that's genuinely that's genuinely the way I believe. Like, yeah, if somebody ever said someone came to me and they said, "Hey, Steve, I'm thinking about quitting. What do you think I should do?" I'd tell them to quit. You should maybe take up cooking or something. You know what I mean? Maybe you'll maybe you'll be better at that. PQ knows. I'm just a reactor. Wow. And what the fuck do I know?
Steve, thank you so much for your time. It has been quite amazing. I've learned quite a lot, not only about your craft, but your mindsets as well. And it has been just amazing. I know that a lot of SA people are going to probably, like, hit you up and just say, like, yo, man, listen, I'd like to work and collaborate with you. But it has been amazing. And I know this will be the first of many, hopefully the first of many. So, yeah, man, I really do appreciate it. And I really do appreciate everyone that joined in to the interviews. It really, really was appreciated. I can't state that enough. Like, it really was appreciated. And I hope you had fun, though. I hope you had fun.
Literally was about to be the words out of my mouth, is that I had a ball doing this. That this was a lot of fun. I'm gonna be transparent with you. I'm suffering from insomnia right now. I probably got 15 minutes of sleep in the last 48 hours. So, like, part of me was like, man, I really wonder if I'm gonna have the energy, if this interview is gonna, you know what I mean? Like, if it's really gonna vibe, if it's gonna go like that. Yo, you carried us. Your energy, the way that you were able to articulate the questions, the way that you kept the pressure on, the way that you didn't back down. You have a beautiful laugh that just kind of like filled in the dead space and stuff like that. You did an absolutely excellent job. I'm very, you made me look good. I appreciate that. You made me look very, very good.
Thank you so much, man. No, but like I said before, this will be the first. This will be literally the first of many. So I'm still gonna like be on your ass and be like, Steve, listen, I just want to have an interview with you, or just want to have some time with you. And yeah, man, I really do appreciate it. Yeah, and just know that SA really, really does appreciate, the reactions that you give. And I love the fact that like, even if you put your work out there, there's someone that's definitely going to see it and someone that's going to definitely appreciate it. So this is just a way of showing people that it's just a matter of just connecting with people and getting your work out there. So yeah, man.
Appreciate you. Get them in now. I can't wait to go Hollywood and not answer these DMs anymore.
All right, Steve, have yourself a great. It's afternoon that side, right? It's afternoon right
I'm
that
going
side.
to
So
bed.
have yourself a great afternoon.
I'm going to sleep. I'm tired. All right, love. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your night.
All right, thank you so much, man. Thank you.